Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I'm so excited for this one because in this video, we are discussing the word creation, what it means to create your own reality, and what exactly does that mean? Because I have this perspective that hopefully can enlighten whoever is watching this, that creation is finished, and in the same boat, we create our own reality. So let's just get into it because I have, Willow's right here. I have Willow right here, but I also have this statement from Neville Goddard. I think it's really important to just read what he's saying and then also expand upon it. This is the book called The Power of Awareness, where he talks about creation specifically. He says, creation is finished. Creativeness is only a deeper receptiveness for the entire contents of all time and all space, while experienced in a time sequence, actually coexist in an infinite and eternal now. In other words, all that you ever have been or ever will be, in fact, all that mankind ever was or ever will be, exists now. This is what is meant by creation. And the statement that creation is finished means nothing is ever to be created. It is only to be manifested. Okay, right here. What is called creativeness is only becoming aware of what already is. You simply become aware of increasing portions of that which already exists. The fact that you can never be anything that you are not already or experience anything not already existing explains the experience of having an acute feeling of having heard before what is being said, or having met before the person being met for the first time, or having seen before a place or thing being seen for the first time. For example, I have this vision of getting this dress and I don't know what it looks like. I have an idea of what it looks like, but I just haven't seen it yet. And when I see it, I'll know it. So I think that this kind of gets interpreted. It's like or misinterpreted because we use our imagination and we know what it feels like. We kind of have an idea of what it looks like. We know that it's manifested too. We just haven't yet seen it in our reality. The whole of creation exists in you, and it is your destiny to become increasingly aware of its infinite wonders and to experience ever greater and grander portions of it. This is the most important part. This is the most important part. If you get anything out of this video, it is this. If creation is finished and all events are taking place now, the question that springs naturally to the mind is, what determines your time track? That is, what determines the events which you encounter? And the answer is your concept of yourself. Your self-concept. Concepts determine the route that attention follows. Here's a good test to prove this fact. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and observe the route that your attention follows. You will observe that as long as you remain faithful to your assumption, so long will your attention be confronted with images clearly related to that assumption. For example, if you assume that you have a wonderful business, you will notice how in your imagination, your attention is focused on incident after incident relating to that assumption. The idea of creation is very interesting, and I wanted to make this video specifically in regards to, I know that YouTube is, an international, there's many people watching these types of videos from different countries and different languages. And the reason why I would really, really like to take some time to talk about the English language is because the English language is set up to mystify and in some cases confuse people. So when we look at the origin of English and how it was created and in the US, we speak English. We speak English, and we don't, since we have been born into this environment, or let's say you've taken it on as another language to learn, you most certainly will understand this when I say that English has many different meanings for the same word. For example, right off the top of my head, the word spell. Very different meanings associated with this word in itself. You can spell things out. There's also spells, you literally creating spells. So within the context, within the frame of sentence that it's used within, it creates a certain interpretation. This is so important. This is so important to understand, because as much as I love the English language, I love learning different languages as well. And when you study like Latin, when you study Greek, when you study different languages, you will come to find out that creation in the English language can be interpreted, can have different words in a different language. So for example, the word spell, if you're casting something or you're spelling something, then that's going to have a different word in the Latin translation, and having the word spell out, like spell something for me, spell the word iron, that will be used in a different way. That has a different language. You say it in a different way, obviously, but I think you guys understand the point now. When you say that you create your own reality, that is very true. That is 100% true. You create your own reality, meaning that you manifest your own reality. It doesn't necessarily mean that you create your reality, but it does mean that you create your own reality. And the English language, gosh, like this is such a fascinating topic, but I think that it's worth mentioning, especially with all that is, this is basically like Neville, the reason why Neville is so important and so relevant to today is because of his way of interpreting the Bible and being able to translate it to us. So in the past, he spent 7 days a week with Abdullah. Abdullah is a man who grew up in Africa, and he was very knowledgeable on the Latin translation. He also studied different forms of the Bible in its original text, okay? And not just only Latin. I'm saying all of this because it can be confusing. It's meant to be confusing. And especially when you get into the English language and start talking about the Bible, which is simply, the Bible is simply the ultimate book to show you how to manifest. It is the ultimate manifestation book. And I think Florence Scovel, she says this in one of her books. I'll go ahead and leave the phrase that she says in the book of what Jesus Christ translates to. It's, I forgot what it is, but I'll leave like a little picture here of what Jesus Christ actually means. It's like manifest with, or manifest to become manifest, to be manifest. Jesus Christ's literal translation, what his name actually meant, to manifest. Fascinating stuff, guys. And when we start looking at the history of the Bible, how I'm talking right now, creating this video, and the Bible is being translated as we speak, the English language is constantly evolving and coming up with new interpretations, coming up with new meanings. That's why Neville became so popular. And once you read this stuff, you can't unread it. I mean, there's life before reading Neville, and then there's life after it, because he genuinely makes the Bible more understandable for modern day society. A lot of this stuff that is present in the Bible, which truly, the Bible is all you need to have in order to manifest. It's the only thing that you need. And in order to fully understand it, it is important to kind of strip it down. I went to a private Christian university for anybody who is new here or just doesn't know that about me, but I've spent a lot of time, I grew up as a Christian, spent a lot of time studying the Bible from a very emotional standpoint as well as a very scientific and logical standpoint. So I feel like I have quite a lot of research. It was actually mandatory for us to take classes on the Bible and learn it, like one semester studying just the Old Testament and then the next studying the New Testament. So it's fascinating. And when we start talking about creation, what's so powerful about this message is that you do create your own reality and you manifest it, right? You manifest what is in your imagination. So yes, you do create your own reality. However, creation is already finished. Oh gosh, and isn't that just so beautiful? Isn't that just so beautiful to know that each version that you think of, every single thought that you can possibly think of can be made manifest based off of your persistence in the assumption and sticking with it, basically just deciding and claiming it to be that what it needs to be. So the God that lives within you, the source, the infinite intelligence, all of it is done. The beginning and the end, Alpha, Omega, all of that, it's all finished. Everything exists right here, right now. And it's up to you to decide what part of creation you want to experience. What do you prefer? And when you stay in that reality and you believe it is so, you stick with that creation, with that visualization, with that claim, with that meaning, with that feeling state, by law, it has to manifest. So I just wanted to make that clear. And hopefully, like, with this knowledge, you kind of you feel a bit more relaxed, because to think that you have to do something in order to get something, you don't. You don't have to do all that. You just have to be aware that it exists. I hope that this makes sense. I hope my interpretation of English, I hope that made sense as well. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment down below. Also, let me know any stories that you have of how you've been able to focus your awareness on something and then you actually see it manifest into your life. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.